sexual. Some people are straight, and some people are gay. Maybe I'm just sexual. 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 Something for the top, and something for the bottom, bottom, bottom. But we're all just sexual. Sexual. We're all just sexual. Sexual. Yeah. Hey, we're not in the 60s, but yet we're talking about the same things. So why are we having these same discussions? It's so interesting that you find it fascinating. Who I'm sleeping with and what I'm doing. Why do we all need these labels? Your character is all that matters to me. To me. You shouldn't let ideology invade us. Make you stop loving family and friends. Some people are straight. Ooh, yeah. Some people are gay. Ooh, yeah. Maybe I'm just sexual. 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 Something for the top. And something for the bottom. Bottom. But we're all just sexual. We're all just sexual. Just sexual. Some people
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, y'all? What is up? Hello to everyone in the chat. What's going on? Naries. What's going on, Queen Donna? What's going on, Barry White? My first, my last, my everything. Let me stop. Yes, twerk on the like button. Hope you all doing well. Please excuse me. I had this scheduled for 5:15, but I got a call from my mom. Well, I had to call my mom because it's her birthday. And my ass low key almost forgot. Had to make sure I got that together before I died, okay? Want to be sure. All right. Hope everybody's doing well on this wonderful Sunday evening. Okay. Okay. I kind of rushed a little bit. I forgot to download some other stuff to put on the screen, but you know what? We're going to work through this. All right. We're going to make it work. Okay. But before we get into the chapters for this live, once again, we got to be smart. We got to be smart. Okay. And I never have this pulled up every time. I'll be messing up on this part. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Boom. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, okay? Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, okay, news reporting, okay, scholarship, okay, and research. Okay, fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay? We gotta be smart. Yeah, shout out to Mama Bubs. Yes. You know, we love Mama Bubs, okay? And I'm probably going to end up seeing them in the summer. And I'm probably doing another live with them. Okay? Because people just be thinking that when a motherfucker queer girl is just, where the hell my lighter? Oh, hell no. Hold on, y'all. I gotta find my lighter, y'all. This not right. How I'm gonna be a pothead and not have my lighter next to me, Jesus? But I got another one. Y'all give me 1 second, okay? Listen to the sounds. Listen to the sounds. Again, I apologize for that, girl. I'm just all over in this damn lab. But welcome to BubzDaGawd. We all over the place anyway. But we're all over the place because there's purpose to it, okay? We're not just all over the place for no reason. All right? I guess the Lord is telling me to wait on smoking this other damn joint. Hold on. All right. You gotta make sure your mouth is moist and shit when you reading and stuff. Okay, because once again, when you smoke weed, baby, water is your friend, okay? Water be higher than sex, baby. I need water to survive. Praise the Lord. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into chapter 28, which is entitled, I Kissed a Boy and I Didn't Like It. Okay, girl, that's fine. You ain't gotta like it. I love it. Okay. Moving through the packed karaoke night at Springwater is like moving through a herd of zebra on the plains of Africa. Okay? The smoke takes some getting used to, even if you are a smoker, as does the ever-present stench of cheap beer. The Tuesday night crowd is a diverse mixture of punks, not punks like he's saying, but like punk rock, okay? Punks, bums, hippies, and drunks. Mix in the oddball Christian, and you've got a recipe for something truly unique. Josh and I are waiting for our song. We put in our infamous Tenacious D standard, not Tenacious D with Jack Black, okay? We put in our infamous Tenacious D standard, and Chris, the DJ, nods his approval. He is one of those guys who does what he does simply, for the love of it. The combination of a regular bar family, beer, and the lesser known gems that the musical world has produced over the past 3 decades, reveals a side of Chris I wish everyone could see. On stage, Kara, known to the superstar karaoke crowd as Springwater, oh Lord, I messed that up. Okay, Andrew Caldwell want his shit. Because, every time I start reading about something gay and Christian, Andrew Caldwell got to come jump his shit on my tongue. So here you go, Andrew, shit.
That's one thing. And
You wanted it,
okay.
and you got it.
You what?
You wanted it,
And you what?
and you got it.
Okay, girl, are you happy? Leave me alone. On stage, okay, Kara, known to the superstar karaoke crowd at Springwater as Lucky, sings Bridge over Troubled Water. What's up, Ryan? Now, did she sing it like a black woman? Because when you sing Bridge Over Troubled Water, girl, that sound like a slave song, baby. You can't sing that song if you ain't got no melanin in your skin. I'm sorry. Sings Bridge Over Troubled Water. Better than any rendition I've ever heard. My fake boyfriend, Sean, is up next. He is going to sing his traditional Boys to Men song. The one during which his voice melts the underwear off every man and woman in the place. Okay? On stage, Shane, a.k.a. Pimp Daddy Supreme. Girl, what? He better not be looking like Malibu's Most Wanted. Okay? Pimp Daddy Supreme. Jesus, make it real. Toggles the lights between red, green, and blue, adding to Lucky's performance, and the crowd goes wild. This is the only real way to spend a Tuesday night. I am on my first pitcher of beer when Sean comes over and gives me a kiss on the cheek and a hug. It's been a while since we have been able to spend time together, much less go on a date. But as I have grown more comfortable in my life as a gay man, I've been less and less in need of rescue by my knight in shining armor. How are you doing, handsome? I can tell by his voice that he has had a few beers and seems to be feeling the effects. I'm doing well. I've missed you. I've missed you too, he says, his hand rubbing my back as we hug. His physicality is normal enough, and I'm completely comfortable with him. But something feels different. His usual restraint that comes from knowing that I'm a straight man seems to be waning, and for the first time, I wonder how flirtatious he'll get. Earlier this year, before I spent significant time in a gay bar or club, I would have reacted very negatively to any sort of physical flirtation. It wasn't until Sean and I started spending time together that I became comfortable. Even the provocative humor from men like Scott and Jason, my two favorite regulars from Revive, would have been enough to send me into a place of extreme discomfort. And there were situations as recently as early summer, where I would revert back into a place of revulsion. Thankfully, that was always fleeting. Ultimately, I had to recognize flirtation for what it is, a compliment, and not as some sort of literal play to get me into bed. Even flirtation rooted in that desire becomes easy to deal with because I began to recognize it as a part of, a unique individual's sense of humor. Hold on, I got a cough, y'all. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. I told y'all. I can't judge. I used to make the same kind of jokes, speak with the same edge of suggestive humor towards women. It feels like lifetimes ago. No shade. Sean holds me for what seems to be 10 minutes before being called up on stage to sing. As he walks towards the microphone, Josh meanders through the packed dive bar to my side. I hope I said that word right. He's drunk, Josh says, and I nod in agreement. But even drunk, listen, Sean can sing. He belts out his Boys to Men tune with the precision of a professional, and everyone in the bar is on their feet. He sure is on his game tonight. Yes, he is, I reply. Hold on, I gotta do some water, y'all, because this damn shit tickling my throat. Hold on. Girl, smoking weed mixed with sinuses is not really a good idea. He sure is on his game tonight. Yes, he is, I reply. He isn't hiding his attraction tonight, is he? Josh asks me quietly. Oh, you noticed? It's okay. Sean and I, always flirt. He is the only one who gets to be that way with me. But what about me, Bubba? Josh says. You're a given. And I laugh. After Sean finishes, he walks back over to the table and retrieves his beer. You were fantastic. Oh, really? Thank you. Sean pulls me into another hug. But it's not just a hug this time. Something strange begins to happen. I am pulled into something I am not remotely ready for. Remotely in the building. What's up, Miss English? Miss English in the building. Remotely in the building. I see Sean's lips pucker, and seconds tick by like calendar pages flying off their binding, one by one by one. The real possibility that I would have to kiss a man at some point this year flashes through my mind, and I weigh my options. Kiss a man who I know loves me and has selflessly, been there for me, or a stranger who surprises me on the dance floor. It seems like an easy answer, but either way, it means I am kissing a dude, and that is not something that any part of me really wants to do. I feel guilty for my Lord. Okay, Andrew. Girl.
That's one thing. And
You wanted it,
Okay.
and you got it.
I can imagine what it must be like to have someone you're attracted to flirt with you, just for show. Do I owe it to him? I mean, he has got nothing from me, physically. Maybe a kiss is a way to show him how much he means to me. I debate, but it isn't an easy argument. Am I really this drunk? One side wonders. You knew this would happen at some point, and it really should be with Sean, the other yells. But I'm not really gay. If an actor can do it, you can too. What will everyone think? Who gives a shit what they think? He's not just doing this because he's horny. He cares for me. And that matters. But just let him do it. I see Sean drunkenly measuring my response. He hasn't turned his head yet and forced an awkward kiss on the cheek. And that has not escaped his notice. Now I know I'm in it. I'm in for it, His face lights up and his lips move toward my own. Oh shit, that's it. I'm done for. The warm flesh of his lips collide with my own like two shapeshifters, melting and contorting together, and it takes me a second to compute exactly what's happening. I'm kissing a man. Not with the full vigor I'd kiss a woman, mind you, but with the meek, guilt-ridden resignation that this is something I have to do. Sean puts his hand on my cheek. His gentleness, even while drunk, even now, is something that I admire in him. I try to think of anything but what is happening. I feel burning hatred for the seemingly sluggish passing of time, as if each second is trying to karmically spite me. But I cannot get over the scene. I am actually kissing a dude. I'm actually allowing myself to be kissed by another guy. What the hell am I thinking? I feel the tip of Sean's tongue slide across my upper lip. No, enough. I can't do it. I'm not gay. The desire for physical anything with a guy will never be there. I pull away as unassumingly as possible, and I look up at Sean. He is smiling. No, not just smiling. His face has broken out into a full-blown grin. He is thrilled, and all I feel is guilt. Sean really wasn't kissing me because, he was horny and wanted to kiss someone. He wanted to kiss me. Something else is happening between us, and I do not want to think about what it means. I am a straight male. I have always known it, but never more than right now. I feel uncomfortable and totally put off. I don't like this feeling. But is violation by something you allow to happen valid or appropriate? Oh, sorry, honey. I guess I got carried away. Oh, you have the softest lips, by the way. Oh my God. His gushing makes me smile. You aren't so bad yourself there, stud. Thank you. I'm going to have another beer, he says, still smiling. Me too, I say, already walking behind him to the bar. I wish they served liquor. I want liquor. You need a blunt. You need to stop smoking up damn cigarettes and hit a joint. In my peripheral vision, I see the Pharisees. He's scowling at me. I also see Josh, and his jaw practically hanging to the floor. Next up, Psycho, Chris yells from the stage. Josh takes a deep breath, rehinges his lower mandible, and walks toward the stage, shaking his head the entire way. I order my drink and I look around. A few people are looking at me and smiling. Sean is still smiling too. And I realize that if for no other reason than to make him smile, it was worth kissing a boy. Even if I didn't like it. And that was a short-ass chapter, y'all. That was chapter 28 called I Kissed a Boy and Didn't Like It. Okay? And it's very interesting. Because no tea, no shade, girl. You can't be sitting up here pretending that your ass gonna be gay, girl, and can't expect some sort of physical anything. And I think it just shows how sexual we are when we really remove the labels and look at ourselves as human. Like, imagine if Tim ass was drunk at a straight bar and he done met this chick with some big ass double D titties, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if he a titty man, ass man, whatever. Pretty face, slim waist, I don't know. And he was drunk and it seemed like the girl was giving him vibes and shit like that. He kind of knew her for a while and wanted to kiss her. He talked about the vigor. He said, I kiss a woman with vigor, but because this is another man, it makes me feel some type of way. But this is the interesting part. He challenged his humanity. Okay? Now, I don't want any of the gays out here doing this shit with straight men, girl. Okay? Don't be doing this shit with your bro, girl. Now, I don't know. Maybe it depends, girl. There are certain levels of love to where there are some people who are just comfortable to kiss on the lips. Okay? But it's one thing when you kiss on the lips and then you start sliding your tongue across somebody's lips like a damn Visa card when it's expired, girl, because they don't like that shit. But he challenged himself and he said, wow, it'll be one thing if it was a drunk individual who didn't have any care in the world for me, who just saw me as a piece of fucking meat and wanted to do something with me. Girl. But that wasn't the case. This was somebody who protected him during his phase when other men would try to want to get on him. Okay, to get on Tim. White chocolate. And Sean had to come through and be like, hold on, because again, Sean is a big, cocky, black, bald-headed motherfucker, girl, who looked like the lead singer from Boyz II Men with all them damn runs. All that shit. But once again, he said he didn't need Sean as much anymore to protect him. But because there has been some sort of like camaraderie between each other, Sean at the time was drunk, and once again, maybe he does have feelings for Tim that built up for him, but he understands and realizes, hey, there is a limit here. This is a experiment that he's doing, and I'm here to help out. But when you drunk, baby, which is why I don't like drinking, getting drunk, you be like, fuck all the other shit, bitch. I'm going to acknowledge what is happening now. So, he decided to kiss Tim. And Tim saw it as, this man was kissing me because he loves me. And even though guilt and shame was on his face, because it was like, I didn't like this, it wasn't like Sean was trying to take advantage of him, like grab his face and just shoved his tongue down his throat. Now the nigga was kind of doing a little bit too much when he was sliding his tongue across his lip. Hell no. But the fact that it happened and all of the insecurities and the thoughts of what if people gonna do when they see me and they look at me and whoop-de-woo, just all these fear narratives came to his mind. And guess what? When he looked around, only a few people was looking and they were smiling. The world didn't end, girl, and the Pharisees was pissed the hell off. The Pharisees was like, girl, that gay agenda is strong, bitch. It's one thing to fight against it, but when them niggas start touching you and kissing you and doing all this shit and you allow them to do it, baby, that gay shit gonna seep in your spirit, girl. The Pharisees was pissed off, baby. When he saw that shit, girl, the Pharisees wanted to do this shit. Y'all see how Cora was running? Y'all see how Cora was shaking? That's me, girl. No, don't do it. Pharisees wanted to set it off in that piece. And shout out to Ron Mims, because I do want to get to this comment before we take our little break and get into the next chapter. Ron says, hey, Bubs, did you see the message Miss Bugatti? He means Bugatti, not Miss Bugatti. Did you see the message that Mrs. Vugata left on your last video? I had to chime in because she's coming for everybody. I know I have to check out your response because I didn't know, but I did respond to him. And once again, like I said, I'm still trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's a lot of grifting energy because he was like, oh, my videos didn't pop off until you started reporting on them. Girl, you have over 100, almost close to 100,000 subscribers. I'm stuck at 750 something. How did my little short ass, leprechaun ass channel, girl, get your videos to pop when you have more subscribers than me? It's the fact that you watching and you listening because your soul and your spirit is low-key convicted. Because once again, I know and I see past just the Ron, conservative Ron that y'all see. I had the honor and the privilege to be able to have private conversations, which once again, I could have been the messy gay and could have spilled all the tea, but that's not me, girl. That's why he watching my stuff and responding to my stuff and wants to respond now, because instead of him dealing with his ego, and I think because how can I say this? And again, this is just my opinion. If I'm wrong, I don't mind being corrected, but it's just my opinion for what I've seen. Ron Ass has had some sort of identity crisis for a very long time, trying to figure out who he is and where he fit in and where he belongs. He's been hurt by black people. He's been hurt by queer people of color. There hasn't been any form of reconciliation, just low-key vengeance. Now he has connected to a political party that is using him, yes, as a voice piece to speak their rhetoric. And that's why they're going to pay him for that. So, again, he's doing it, and again, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I gotta believe that he's doing it for the money. He's doing it for the money. And when you look at Ron's channel, there's been a period of time where he was doing a lot of shit for money. He was doing a lot of shit for clout. But the fact that he's coming for everybody is because that ego is bruised, baby. It's certain truths that are coming out that is hidden in his spirit, and as opposed to him dealing with that, he wants to fight against it because he feels like if he ends up receiving what his spirit wants him to receive to be truth, that he has to go back to that way of living. And no, you don't. I am a same gender loving man who had my ego death, who don't do the majority of the things that a lot of my LGBT brothers and sisters do. And even me saying that kind of sounds ignorant, because we always highlight the lowest vibration or the most easily targeted people of the community. And it's like, no, you can still fight for equality and fight for truth, but do it in a loving way where you won't have to just use your body. Somebody will also be able to appreciate you for your mind and your spirit. But there is an emotional disconnect that Ron does not have, that he is struggling. I don't say he don't have, but that he is struggling to tap into and to heal from. And until he does that, he's going to keep doing what he's doing, which is very sad and it's low-key cringy, but it is his life. And I mean, he wants to be he wants to be in politics and do the whole political game. This is what comes with the territory. But at least you had somebody who was willing to try to understand you as a human being, as opposed to the other people who don't give a fuck about your humanity because you don't care about theirs. Shouldn't you be the one who is, since you're so connected to God and you're conservative, shouldn't you be able to be the one to have long suffering and to be able to have patience and grace and mercy with the people like myself that you deem, and the people that support you and you support, deem to be immoral, to be sexual deviants, to be sexual abusers, just everything unnatural and abominable. Very interesting. But girl, listen, as long as you push it on the public, girl, we have the opportunity to respond. And that's what the hell I'm going to do, okay? So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. All right. I'm going to hit my joint one more time because not even one more time. I ain't have a chance to hit it. I'm speaking to in the future tense. Okay, and we will be back for the next chapter of this live. Let me know, how are y'all doing? How are y'all feeling today? Let me know any thoughts y'all want to share in the comment section below during the break. All right, and we will be right back. Give me 1 second.
Sexual. Some people are straight, and some people are gay. Maybe I'm just sexual. Sexual. Something for the top, and something for the bottom. But we're all just sexual. We're all just sexual. Yeah. Hey, we're not in the 60s, but yet we're talking about the same things. So why are we having these same discussions? It's so interesting that you find it fascinating. Who I'm sleeping with and what I'm doing. Why do we all need these labels? Your character is all that matters to me. You shouldn't let ideology and favor make you stop loving family and friends. Some people are straight. Ooh, yeah. Some people strange. Some people are strange. Some people are gay. Some people are gay. Maybe I'm just sexual. Maybe I'm just sexual. Sexual. I'm just sexual. Some prefer the top. Some prefer the top. Some prefer the bottom. Some prefer the bottom. But we're all just sexual. Sexual. Just sexual. Sexual. Some people are strange. Some people are gay. Some people are gay. Some people are straight. Maybe I'm just sexual. I'm just sexual, baby. Sexual. I don't need a label. Some people are dumb.
All right, y'all. All right. And again, the name of the song is entitled Sexual by B Slade, the GOAT. Okay, roses every time, always and forever. And I was hoping they would have revealed the name of the Boys to Men song too as well. I'm trying to figure out which one it is. Is it End of the Road? Is it Last Cry, girl? What song we singing? We singing Let It Snow? What is we doing? What is we doing? Hold on one second, y'all. Yes. And now let us get into chapter 29, entitled Angela. No Windbush. Nothing beats as much like that special touch. Okay, that's my song, bitch. Angela. No Davis. And it better not be Angela Staton, girl, because if it is, I'm going to read her ass for filth. What's up, Spicy? Girl, I'll read the rest of them goddamn Little Caesar's goddamn sausage shit off the rest of her face. It is the season of holidays, and winter is almost at hand. It is the season of Halloween and Thanksgiving, and then my last holiday before this part of the journey reaches its end, Christmas. I've decided to take a trip before Christmas for a final test to see if I have truly learned what I think I have. But I don't leave for another few weeks. For now, I am content to sip my coffee and eat a hummus plate at the cafe with Josh. It is a beautiful night, and quite an eclectic crowd has gathered to enjoy the atmosphere of the cafe. Oh my God, love the hat. This is what he said. I thought the woman said this. See, I'm reading fast and shit, girl. Slow down. Love the hat, I say to a woman as she passes our table on the patio. I mean, you should. It's my attempt at being festive. Her every word, every syllable rings out confidently, like she's looking down on us or something, like she's royalty, girl. Girl, she be drinking that Starbucks shit, of course. You know, a bitch get a motherfucking spice latte, girl, pumpkin latte, and they think they own the world, girl. Look at Christian Walker. Well, we do, Josh says, smiling. So I've just moved. Is this her talking? Oh, yes. Okay, this is her talking. So I've just moved here from, New York, and I'm, retiring, actually, and thought the South may be a good place to settle. What do you think? She walks casually to our table, and we know she wants to talk. You're retiring? Are you even old enough to retire, I ask? Honey, with compliments like that, Santa is sure to bring you something nice this Christmas. Girl, I am... welcome to BubzDaGawd. She touches my arm, and I'm surprised at how expressive and delicate she is, the epitome of a dame. She's supposed to be classy, and I'm making her sound like a bitch who orders Starbucks, girl, before going to school, and I'm gonna keep reading like that. I'm 49 and have a good diet and anti-wrinkle cream to thank for my appearance. I would be thanking them too if I were you, Josh adds. Not one, but two perfect gentlemen. Wish there were more of you in New York. Where'd you move to? I ask. Ladies can't usually model past the age of 30, but, I was blessed and made it to 40 before I had to hang up my heels and say goodbye to the runway. I've been mentoring younger models on the finer points of the business ever since. Did I mention that I attend AA? it really is the best place to make contacts. I mean, you wouldn't believe some of the celebrities I befriended in my time there. And you know the craziest part? I'm not even an alcoholic, bitch. It's just the best place to be, and my career thrived because of it. Bitch, not you. Not your ass over here trying to get all the motherfucking tea. Not you a hag. Josh looks at me, and I can tell he's enjoying the conversation. It is not every day you meet a woman like Angela, okay? Meeting unique people has become a normal occurrence this year. My former church of predominantly white conservative Baptists did not have much room for diversity, but this year I have learned that a lack of diversity isn't good for anyone. It is our differences that teach us the most about ourselves, about life, and in terms of faith, most important, about God. I am beginning to realize how beautiful others' stories can be, and I am thirsty to hear more of them. Angela walks into my life as if from a runaway. Okay, Andrew. I'm not gonna fight. It's Sunday, girl. I'm gonna let you have your day, bitch.
And that's one thing. And
You wanted it,
Okay.
and you got it.
You what?
You wanted it,
And you what?
and you got it.
Okay, girls, you happy? Probably not. This bitch is never happy. Where was I at? Angela walks into my life as if from a runway, her confidence disarming, and her story, even as yet untold, powerful. I have only ever met 2 transgendered people, and thankfully, both of those meetings happened this year. I doubt I would have known how to react before, Angela, formerly Albert. Oh, this is someone trans. Okay. Speaks about her pre-operation therapy and the effect the hormones have on her body, and with the candor and self-assurance of someone who has spent years getting to know herself. It is an odd thing to think about changing my gender. It is a lot simpler to admit how little I actually understand about life and its many complexities with which I have no experience. What matters most for me at this point is being true to myself while not encroaching upon the sanctity of someone else's uniqueness. Bitch, I have to read that again. Now here it is, girl. We got motherfuckers today talking about trans children and oh my god, what about the effects of the hormone and stuff like that. Meanwhile, in this book, you have let me read it again, girl. Let Tim do it, girl, because Tim the straight one and I'm not, so maybe it'll be better coming from his mouth. Again, in his own book, in his own words, he says, I have only ever met 2 transgendered people, and thankfully both of those meetings happened this year. I doubt I would have known how to react before, but Angela, formerly known as Albert, speaks about her pre-operation therapy. Girl, therapy, pre-operation, what? Therapy. She goes through therapy. There are people, when you are doing the transition in a healthy way, in the right way, with assistance, with those who are willing to pour in love on you, not just emotionally and mentally, but also from an objective medical standpoint as well. Because there are doctors that want to help heal and want to help bring an individual's awareness to a greater standpoint or capacity. So again, the therapy, had to go through a therapy, girl, not just in the back alley like some people believe, girl, but actual therapy, and the effect the hormones have on her body, with the candor and self-assurance of someone who has spent years getting to know herself. It is an odd thing to think about changing my gender. It is a lot simpler to admit how little I actually understand about life and its many complexities with which I have no experience. What matters most for me at this point is being true to myself while not encroaching upon the sanctity of someone else's uniqueness. Desmond Tutu calls this umbatu, the idea that I am because you are. The idea that I am because you are. And again, Ubuntu, the idea that I am because you are. The more you are you, the more I can be me. It is a beautiful transition. It is a beautiful tradition that has filled in the many holes where my dogma once resided. Billy Graham once said, "It's God's job to judge, the Spirit's job to convict, and it's my job to love." Bitch, come on, Billy Graham. Say it one more time for the peoples. It's God's job to judge, okay? The Spirit's job to convict, and it's my job to love. You know what?
In the name of Jesus, you be made whole by the power of God.
Thank you, Pookie. Okay? I wish I had believed this all along and just loved people. It is so much easier and so much more rewarding than creating clones that we teach to go out and create more clones. The whole process shows we don't get it. And we do not understand how much bigger God is than the box we have created and tried to stuff him into. I think of that box now and realize it isn't holy or righteous or true. The box is evil, okay? It cripples the good news. I gotta read that one more time, girl, because this just hit my spirit, bitch. All right? I wish I had believed this all along and just loved people. It is so much easier and so much more rewarding than creating clones that we teach to go out and create more clones. The whole process shows we don't get it. That we do not understand how much bigger God is than the box we have created and tried to stuff him, or I will say stuff it, into. I think of that box now and realize it isn't holy or righteous or true. The box is evil. It cripples the good news. He said, no shade, Billy Graham is a hack. But let me tell you something. That might be true. But one thing I will say about this, and then once again, it's about how you look at it. A broken clock can be right. Andrew. Girl. Andrew is riding my tongue this morning, girl. A broken clock can be right twice a day. Andrew Caldwell asked what me to motherfucking say. A broken clock, girl, can be right 2 times a day. That's what Andrew want me to say. You see how I be fighting him? And yes, baby, Miss motherfucking my father's toaster strudels, girl, said, bitch, girl. Y'all can say what y'all want to say about trans people, girl. I'm over here getting all the tea, girl. And I'm sitting in AE with the AA. When I tell y'all my mind be going so fast, girl, I be putting words together, bitch. I know it's something going on, spiritual. Girl, Moses' ass was stuttering, girl. He was talking to the burning bush, girl. He was parting the Red Sea, girl. He was helping the goddamn fog and shit to come around and kill the firstborns, girl, because they ain't put blood on they doorpost, or as Andrew Caldwell would say, blood on they doorkosh. So if that mean that Moses' energy is in me, I'll be stuttering. It don't mind, girl. God's still gonna bless me, bitch. It's just he gonna be blessing me. Remix it, girl. A brand new blessing. Amen. Okay? But she said, look, I am a trans woman, and bitch, I am in AA with the heterosexual alcoholics, girl, and I'm not even an alcoholic, bitch. What the fuck? It's not how you start, it's how you finish. No shade. Girl. I am at the cafe again a few days later, but this time I am alone. This clamor of latte mugs and the hiss from the espresso machine seems constant, providing just enough background noise for me to slip inside myself to think. On October 1st, the inevitable end of my experiment became real. The finish line lies just ahead of the most difficult aspect of the year, my second coming out. I've begun to wrestle with the idea almost constantly. How can I tell all of my new friends that I am not actually gay? Will they hate me for having lied to them? Now, before I did this experiment, I had no understanding of safe spaces, had no idea that in coming out, I would be trespassing on a sacred place, or into a sacred place, excuse me. By the time I understood, it was too late, and the only thing left to do was finish this journey as sensitively as possible. Being a straight man in the closet, living in and around the neighborhood of Nashville, has made me feel like a bull in a china shop. I sit and ponder these things, and I pray I haven't damaged anyone in the process. Only with the passing of time will I be able to see with clarity what this entire thing means, not only for me, but for my gay friends. I know people will judge my intentions and the nuances of how my theology has changed, but I expected that. I will face the objections, the doubt, and the cynicism with as much grace as I can muster. Love never fails. A finger taps me on the shoulder and I look up. Angela smiles at me and puts her bag on the table, only to walk back to the counter to retrieve her, non-fat latte with caramel sauce dribbled over the velvet surface of the steamed milk, girl. Now she is wearing designer jeans, a beautiful sweater with a white pearl coat. Girl, Andrew, girl, with a white pea coat, and she looks like someone out of a magazine. Her posture, even in the state of relaxation, is perfect. I have never been more impressed by someone or more intimidated. Even more puzzling is the odd feeling I have that she and I are destined to be friends. I never had a friend like her, and I hope I don't screw this up. My inner Pharisees has been quiet lately, but I know he's still there, and the prospect of a repeat of that night with Lizzie still scares me. I never want to hurt anyone like that again. As I wait for Angela, I pray that God will show me how to love everyone, no matter how similar or different they are. So, I've been thinking lately, you are really a handsome man, Angela says from halfway across the room, walking back to the table. Really? I mean, I've had my share of men flirt with me this year, but I've never taken it as a sincere compliment. My insecurity and interpretation of their motives always seems to hinder me. Yes, and I want you to learn how to model, she says. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm trying to read it and trying to figure out who is who first. Girl, excuse me? I choke on my coffee. What do you mean, model? Girl, a model like this. Angela sets her latte on the table and walks the length of the cafe as if it's a catwalk, ignoring every stare, finger pointing, and laughter along the way. Her confidence is alarming, but what really shocks me is how oblivious she seems to be of the people around her. She sits down, demurely crossing her legs with a feline-like grace, and sips her drink. You see? It's as simple as walking. But did you see all those people pointing and laughing, Angela? I mean, geez. Let me tell you an important lesson about life, okay? If people are pointing and laughing, bitch, you win. Because that means their attention is on you. And attention is a commodity that all celebrities possess. Bitch. Let me read that again in my voice. Let me teach you an important lesson about life. If people are pointing or laughing and or, girl, all of the above, regardless, bitch, you win, because that means that their attention is on you, and attention is a commodity that all celebrities possess. I just don't think I can do it. I mean, look at me. I don't have a six-pack, I have a keg, I say. You can do it, and you will do it right now. Call this a lesson of self-confidence. Angela snaps her fingers, and I reluctantly stand up. How am I supposed to do this? I whine. It's as easy as walking with an attitude. Just keep your back straight, your eyes focused on one specific point, and no matter how you move your head, never take your eyes off that spot. And suck in that beer gut, nigga. She waits a few seconds, and I don't move. Go on, Timothy. You can do it. It is difficult to describe the range of emotions I feel as I face the open space between the tables, knowing I'm about to strut in front of 30-plus college kids. I feel self-conscious, insecure, and ridiculous. But I trust Angela. And so I put my right foot forward, and going against everything inside me, I begin to walk. I pick a point on the far wall to stare at, I know that the looks from my critics will easily dissuade me if I acknowledge them. So I don't. As I make my turn and staring back at Angela, I am walking on a cloud. I feel invincible. I mean, damn the people laughing at me. Damn the frat boy who just whistled at me from across the room as his friends roar in laughter. Each step feels liberating. As I reach Angela, I realize that I didn't walk for her. I walked for myself. She throws her arms around my neck, hugging me tightly. Ooh, bitch, I'm so proud of you. That was fantastic. I mean, your posture needs some work, but you looked masculine and raw. So, how did you feel? I mean, that felt great, especially when I heard those guys laughing. I felt like every step I took was a giant, fuck you for judging me. The corner of Angela's mouth turns into a provocative way, and she makes a kissy face and winks at me. I mean, bitch, you are a beautiful man, and you have nothing to be self-conscious about. Don't ever doubt yourself. Never, ever, never, ever, ever, in the evers of never, doubt yourself. Taking compliments from Angela is easier than from other people. It is easier because I know she is telling the truth. There is no pretense or facade. There is only the softened heart of someone who has experienced enough cruelty for a dozen lifetimes, has learned to fully accept herself, and in doing so, has learned to accept others. And in that way, she's achieved a certain kind of enlightenment, a sublime state of being that seems lifetimes away from me. I have always been taught that we learn because of, or in spite of, and regarding people outside the faith, it would only ever be in spite of. Lessons like community, loving my neighbor, and confidence are not things I anticipated encountering while outside my church. But the secular community seems to generally grasp these concepts without without an organized church body. And I cannot discredit them, no matter how much I have been taught to. Am I trying to discredit the vast amount of good nah. Am I trying to discredit the vast amount of good one can learn inside the church? Of course not. But am I facing an even more substantial truth that, even as a self-professed Christ follower, I do not have a monopoly on truth? After making me, treat my favorite cafe like a runway, Angela finds us a quiet table on the patio to talk. She refers to herself as a spiritualist, but doesn't ascribe to any one belief. I tell her, I'm a Christian, and I can see that she is put off by the word. It is depressing to think that people across the divide on the other side of the so-called culture war thinks of my faith tradition so negatively. I don't think it's the actual Christian faith that bothers them so much as the people who claim to follow Christ. In fact, I've never gotten a negative response when referencing Jesus in any situation this year. If only professed Christ followers, myself especially, would align Christianity with Christ by removing the politics, pomp and arrogance from our everyday expressions of faith. Maybe then we could begin undoing the vast amounts of personal damage we have inflicted upon the very people Jesus has called us to love. People who are just as much the children of Job. Girl, I'm about to say children of Job. I be trying to read and be reading fast, girl. My mind read fast, but again, this is my quirk. This is one of my thorns in my flesh, girl, that is a part of my life. And watch God still bless me, bitch. Amen. Go back here. Maybe then we could begin undoing the vast amounts of personal damage we have inflicted upon the very people Jesus has called us to love. People who are just as much the children of God as we believe ourselves to be. We Christians may be unaware of the effects of our words and actions, but in any case, damage is done. Angela's apprehension is convicting. I am learning the unfortunate lesson that most of us in the church have lulled ourselves into a false sense of spiritual competence, where we feel infallible, no matter how fallible we claim to be, and see others as too ignorant to teach us anything about our God that we don't already know. But maybe that's the point. What's up, Queen Amber? But maybe that's the point. To be humble enough to learn from those whom we do not want to acknowledge as credible sources of wisdom. Ooh, that's a read even for all of us. Maybe that is why God honors the least of these, blesses the meek, comfort those who mourn, and call peacemakers the sons of God. Until this year, I was proud enough to have missed this. But it helps to know that I still have time to rectify this paramount mistake and reconcile myself to a much bigger God than the one I've kept so neatly in my little box. Angela, could you just answer me one question? Darling, girl, I'll answer you a million questions if you ask them. Girl, this read through is trap like. And when I mean trap, I'm talking about trap hood, girl. Because I live in the hood, girl. She bats her eyelashes playfully, and I chuckle. Like, Angela, who are you? You walked into my life, a true dame, and now you're sitting here telling me you want to teach me how to model. Like, what's your story? My story? she says, sighing. For a second, I fear I've put her off by prying into her life before she's ready. My story isn't probably much like your story, Tim. Well, I figured as much. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. It's okay, handsome. It's just hard to relive. But I'll try. She takes a sip of her coffee and stares at her, polished nails, lost in thought. Albert was 6 years old when he realized the house was empty. The absence of his mother triggered a range of emotions that would challenge even the strongest of adults, much more a young boy. The reason for her disappearance was a mystery, confused by loneliness. Nothing made sense. Every day, Albert would wander the modest Victorian home while his father was away at work. And again, I'm reading it as it is written. I believe he's reading it in reference to her past life by using he. Matter of fact, you know what? To do it right, I'll go back and I'll change it to still acknowledge her as she is, okay? Angela, formerly known as Albert, was 6 years old when she realized the house was empty. The absence of her mother triggered a range of emotions that would challenge even the strongest of adults, much more a young boy at the time. The reason for her disappearance was a mystery. I'm talking about the mother, confused by loneliness. Nothing made sense. Every day, Albert would wander the modest Victorian house while her father was away at work, always careful to avoid the room that once belonged to her mother. It was a room that had inspired so much warmth, so much hope. But since her disappearance, it had become a shell of a former life. The shivers that ran down Albert's spine when she saw the door to this room elicit panic attacks and tears, which dripped onto her unkept clothing that was badly in need of a wash. Normally, when one parent is taken out of the familial equation, the other attempts to, pick up the slack. But not my father. Angela pauses to sip her latte. My father acted as if she were still around, like shit was still getting done, but it wasn't. Dishes were piling up in the kitchen to a point that our neighbor, Miss Thompson, could see them through the window and would come over while my father was away to take care of the mess. She had become a close friend of my mom's. She had been a close friend of my mom's, but didn't seem surprised that she wasn't around anymore, which always made me wonder. She ignored me, but I didn't mind. I was just happy to hear someone else in the house. It made things better for me. By the age of 7, Albert had begun to conquer her fears of her mother's room. When she wasn't at school, she would sit in the hallway with her back to the door and do her homework, trying to remember any little detail of her mother that she could hold. She'd write these details down, but they weren't enough. She needed to go inside to see her things and touch them, smell them. Surely that would help her remember. Easier said than done, Angela says, taking a deep breath, looking off to my left like she is watching, she's watching herself in that hallway. It took me weeks to put my hand on the doorknob, and another month to turn the damn thing. I don't even remember what I was afraid of, so I just stood there. I can still feel the cold brass against the sweaty palm of my hand. Still feel the numbness in my wrist that kept me from turning it. And then one afternoon, it just happened. I turned the knob and went inside. The room was darker than she remembered. The shades were pulled shut and the air was stale, but it was still the place she remembered. Lying on her mother's bed was a deep red sundress, the hanger still looped through the sleeves. Albert reverently approached the dress and pulled the fabric to her nose, inhaling deeply. She could smell traces of her perfume clinging to the fabric, and it was all that she needed to feel her mom's presence. It was the beginning. The tears and the memories stirred something deep within the motherless child that could only be described as hope. A single ember that, like a drug, brought Albert to a place of peace. I can still remember that smell, Angela says, tears running down her face. She takes a deep breath and lights a cigarette. I'm tired of y'all smoking cigarettes, bitch. Where is the weed? I still remember the lavender. It was bright and warm. It smelled like the home I'd lost. I remember sitting on the edge of that bed, just clutching that dress to my chest, sobbing into it, holding it as if it was more than a piece of fabric. I held onto it like it was my mother. I think I may have even talked to it, but I don't remember. All that mattered was that it was my mother's favorite and that it smelled like her. I don't know why Angela is sharing all of this with me. I feel honored and crippled with empathy. I realize I'm wiping tears out of my eyes. I remember not being able to sleep that night. I felt like I just won something or was going somewhere fun the next day, like a theme park or something. The entertainment gave me a high. I spent damn near 3 hours writing in my notebook that night, writing memories that felt like they just happened. I could hear my mother's laugh, see her looking in the mirror while she applied her makeup. I remembered the pearls she wore, one white and one pinkish, that hung from one ends of a silver chain that wrapped around her neck. I got to see again how beautiful she was, how gentle. I got to taste her homemade bread, got to remember running on the beaches of Long Island. I stood next to her in church again, singing hymns that I loved only because I got to listen to her sing them. And it all was beautiful. Angela exhales a puff of smoke through her nose and smiles. It was the beginning of a powerful time in my life. And a time when I accepted who I am and first had the courage to act on that acceptance. How so? I say, using a napkin to dry my eyes. It was when I first acknowledged that I was my mother's daughter, not her little boy. I had always wanted to grow up and be a beautiful woman. The idea of growing up a man felt foreign and wrong and felt like a lie. A few weeks after holding that dress in my hands, I was back in my mother's room for the 100th time. The deep red sundress that I always put back into its proper spot on the bed was there looking at me. And something inside of me said that I was supposed to wear it. So I stripped down to my underwear, delicately took the hanger off the dress, and slipped it over my head, and for the first time in my life, felt whole. I was Angela. You see, my mom always called me her angel, so it just felt right for me. Perfect, even. I looked at myself in the mirror for a while and thought, you, Angela, you are a beautiful woman. You take after your mother. Albert had always struggled with the realization that she was different. On the playground, she would sit in the swing and stare at the other boys, never once feeling like she was one of them. She was isolated, and it didn't take long for the other kids to notice. Albert suffered bullying from elementary school through high school. Oh, believe me, honey, okay? It only got worse after I started dressing in my mother's clothing, even though, it wasn't private. No one knew I was doing it, but as I sat in class, I'd imagined that I was a beautiful woman, like Joan Collins in Dynasty, Alexis Carrington, my hero, the ultimate diva. But Angela's secret was discovered when she was 11. One afternoon, as she walked around her house in one of her mother's black dinner gowns and heels, she turned around and found her father staring at her. He was an old-fashioned Sicilian, hardened by a culture that said you couldn't show emotion and still be a man. It was uncommon for him to beat me for little or no reason. He hit my mom every once in a while too, Gave her a black eye once on Christmas Eve. But hell, I was Angela, and I knew he wouldn't understand. It happened so fast. What in the hell are you doing, you little fuck? He asked me. I told him I was being me, and he actually laughed. I don't know how a Sicilian man talks. Is it Sicilian kind of Italian? Because I'm speaking ignorantly here. Fuck, I'm gonna do it like Italian. Oh, so you want to be a cunt? You want to be a cunt? Yeah, let me stop this. Oh, so you want to be a cunt? I'll treat you like a cunt. And then he grabbed me and threw me on the ground. Bitch, what? Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, girl, wait. Cause like I said, I read fast, girl. That's why I love closed captions, bitch. But girl, oh my God. Okay, y'all, this is gonna be a little graphic. They about to ban this from another school, girl, when it's telling the truth. It happened so fast. What in the hell are you doing, you little fuck? He asked me. I told him I was being me, and he actually laughed. Oh, you want to be a cunt? You like that your son's a fag? Well, I'll treat you like a cunt then. And then he grabbed me and threw me on the ground and forced me to perform oral sex on him. He was so violent. I remember thinking I was going to die. I couldn't breathe. That was the first time I allowed myself to hate my father. I hand Angela a tissue and she wipes running makeup off of her cheek. I left as soon as I was able to, so I moved to New York City and became a runway model, which was a dream come true. Wow. I don't know what to say. I think of the violation, and anger courses through my body. Why would he do that to his own child? This is evil, not Angela. You don't have to say anything. The sexual abuse happened several more times over the next few years, but I've forgiven my father. I even still call to check up on him. You still talk to him? I ask. I call him long enough for him to answer, and that's how I know he's alive. One day, I'll call and he won't answer, and I know he's gone. Then I'll hop on a bus back home and wear the hell out of my slinky black dress, okay, the hell out of it, bitch, and pay my last respects. You are a recipe for disaster, Angela. Wow, the product of so much chaos and tragedy. But you're more beautiful for that, and I'm humbled you'd share your story with me. I choked back tears, still trying to process everything she just said, trying to put myself into her size 9s. I mean, that's why I told you, Timothy. Because I know you think that I'm beautiful. And that's what separates, let me read it again, sorry. And that's why I chose you, Timothy. Because I know you think I'm beautiful. And that's what separates you from almost everyone else I've met here so far. Angela smiles and puts her hand on my shoulder and squeezes. That is when I lost it. I excuse myself, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and I look in the mirror, weeping at, it says at for the pain. That wasn't me, girl, that's what it says in the thing, but I'm gonna read it the right way. Weeping at the pain Angela has experienced. Nearby, the Pharisees leans against the wall, listening as I cry. The look on his faces is snide. I don't mean to be rude, but it's pretty clear that the reason he is transgender is because of his father. The Pharisees' tone and words offend me so greatly that I hit the sink with both fists as the last word is uttered. The porcelain shudders against the tile wall behind it. Hatred swells inside my body. You know what? Damn you for saying that. And damn me for ever having thought those kind of things. Look, I'm not judging him. She's her, you son of a bitch. And she was her long before she was sexually abused. I don't say the word that was in here. Why is it that you have to take everyone's story and pervert it according to your limited understanding of things? Why do you have to control and dominate every difference, reduce people down to this sin of that? I mean, this sin. Read that again, girl. Okay, let's do Andrew real quick, girl, because Andrew, girl. Matter of fact, bitch, this is what I'm gonna say to Andrew.
I can't do this.
She wanted more.
I can't do this.
Bitch, I'm taking my tongue back. I'm taking my tongue back. Look you, okay? She's her, you son of a bitch. And she was her long before she was abused. Like, why is it that you have to take everyone's story and pervert it according to your limited understanding of things? Why do you have to control and dominate every difference, reduce people down to this sin or that? This person is wrong, this person is right. How dare you? Wow. So I'm not allowed to have an opinion? Not when you try to sell your opinions as gospel truth. Right now, you can shut the fuck up and butt out of my life. Now I have to get back to my sister. Let me read that part again, girl, because people love saying this. So I'm not allowed to have an opinion, and this is what my response is going to be, girl. Thank you for me reading this, because I'm going to use this every time, girl. Not when you try to sell your opinions as gospel truth. Not when you sit up here and try to spew the shit out of your mouth as if though your shit is being backed up by the goddamn women who was on the Hercules soundtrack, girl. And that's the gospel truth. You don't get to have that type of marinade, that type of Lowry seasoning salt, that type of goddamn seasoning and flavor on your response when you know your response ain't the gospel truth. That's why I do my commentary on certain people, girl, when they get out here and speak out the side of their neck and they bell pepper nigga noses, girl, to breathe in truth and speak out bullshit. Not because it's the gospel truth. Objectively, it's the gospel truth in your mind because how you've been hurt. No shade. I walk away angry, but feel like I am being cured of a disease. It is the worst kind of disease, a plague even. The kind of sickness that has always fueled my inherited spiritual narcissism and kept me from truly being in a relationship with someone I never would have known or wanted to know otherwise. I know that all of this may seem like common sense to anyone raised in other parts of the country or to other parents, that embracing someone different, or, much harder, allowing oneself to be embraced by them seems like a no-brainer. But conservative Christianity doesn't allow for such things. It does not make room for the advancement of communion with someone like Angela. Instead, it calls for something else, something much more insidious. It teaches us to manipulate that person's emotions so that we can change them into our image. I would never wish to change Angela. Being changed myself because of her is enough for me to feel that I have listened to my Jesus, been willing to admit I do not have the answers to her past pain and scars. Singing a few hymns and reading a few verses cannot undo the damage done to her in her life for being transgender. A few minutes pass and I walk back to the table. Josh has finally made it to the cafe and is sitting at the table with Angela. Both are laughing, and I know that means she is back in entertainer mode. So for a few brief minutes, I got to see so much deeper. And for a few minutes, she honored me with her story. I reach the table and sit down. Josh sees my puffy eyes and gives me a questioning look. You okay, buddy? Yes, I am actually. Angela smiles at me, and I breathe. For the first time in years, I am able to breathe. We banter back and forth, tell stories, and share jokes. We drink coffee and make obscene comments about cute guys, and we laugh. We laugh like we have never laughed before, enjoying every second, carefree and uninhibited. Every so often, I look over at Angela and she smiles at me. She is definitely right about one thing. She is beautiful to me, so very beautiful. And I know she looks at me the same way. I am because she is. Ubuntu. And y'all, that's the end of chapter 29 called Angela. Baby, this is why I am so grateful being in the present moment. I am so happy and proud of myself. First of all, for being committed to do these lives and to do these read-throughs with you, with all of the mistakes, with all of the cutting, with all of my shawam bullshit, girl. I appreciate y'all being here with my BubzDaGawd expression. But I'm glad that I read this book again for the second time, especially in this time, this era that we're in. The fact that it literally proves what love really is. That love is not just a word, it's an action, it's a verb, and it's also a choice. And how for the longest time, Tim had been indoctrinated to believe ignorantly. And when I say ignorantly, I don't mean it in a derogatory way or an abusive or aggressive way. I mean it as far as they simply just don't know, or they're afraid to know. That inherently indoctrinated him to believe certain things about certain groups of people. And when he finally challenged himself, he was challenging more of his ego. That once again, we have to be objective here. A lot, not all, because there are small intersections in, of the group, but at large, a lot of conservative Christianity does not honor. But when we look at the book and we talk about Christ, which is the most important figure in the book. We thank God for everybody else, even God. But when it comes down to the connection to this God, it was Christ, which was the most important. And when we look at what conservative Christians, even some liberal Christians, just a lot of Christianity in general, when it comes to ego and not from a healthy, fruitful, and life-giving and Christ energy and frequency, when the opportunity presents itself for them to actually walk in Christ, they do everything except that. And here it is, a trans woman, and he said he only met 2 trans women in his life. Popped the hell up out of no damn where, as if though God was like, boom, here it is. Because, God works in mysterious ways. No such thing as coincidence. And here it is. This trans woman is living her life. She is walking with this fierce energy. She knows who the hell she is. Even before telling the story. Even before sharing the Mudkin story. He could tell that there was some sort of just fire strong in her. And even said, okay, bitch, girl, you a model too. Yes, you may not look like a typical model, girl. Yes, you may have a Dunlap belly, girl. Your belly Dunlapped over your goddamn belt, girl. It's cool, girl, but you still cute, man. So get your ass up, bitch. This is a motherfucking crash course in confidence 101, girl. And we all need it from time to time, girl. No shade. Said, bitch, you gonna turn this goddamn cafe into a catwalk, bitch. On the catwalk, yeah, I'm too sexy for my gut. Too sexy for my 3 necks. Girl, and walk up and down and pump the runway. What did Quadir girl say? Bitch, stomp the pavement and make her bleed. Make it bleed, bitch. And yes, this is called self-confidence. Cat Williams said, bitch, how I'ma fuck up your self-confidence, self-esteem, bitch? It's esteem of your motherfucking self, girl. But we're learning that. A lot of us we're taught how to conform and not be individuals. So it's hard for people to be individually them when they spent so much of their time trying to assimilate and trying to blend. In an unhealthy, unnatural way. In a controlled way. And he said, fuck it, bitch, I'ma walk by faith. And he motherfucking stomped his goddamn 12-pack, girl, of Coors Light, girl, down the damn runway, impromptu runway. And yes, they was laughing and motherfuckers wolf whistling and shit. Okay, and he found power in that. Every time it's like, girl, I'm still gonna be bitch, fuck you. Bitch, fuck you, girl. I'm gonna be me, girl, fuck you. It's like, I don't care. But then he had the opportunity and the privilege to be able to have a conversation with Angela. And Angela opened up and gave Tim the honor and privilege to open up about her life, which she did not have to. Because who wants to literally relive their pain over again? Who just actively be like, okay, girl, I volunteer, girl. But again, she understood the energy from Tim. And again, this was something, a point in divine, girl. All elements of the L, the G, the B, the T, and the Q was coming into full play, girl, in his face. He thought I just had to deal with, he just thought, damn, it's just the lesbians and gays, girl. It's bisexual people, it's trans people, it's intersex, it's asexual, it's demisexual, it's all these other things, girl. It's so much, it's so much, it's so much, it's so much. But girl, your ass over here swallowing 2 orders of goddamn Kung Fu Panda Express with no problems, girl. You ain't got no problem learning it and memorizing the menu then, girl. Y'all had no problem going to goddamn McDonald's and Burger King, girl, and know the menu like the back of your damn hand, girl. But you can't learn no other shit to respect people, girl. Only when you respecting them in that experience. Come on now. This is called life. That means you don't stop learning, baby. You gonna always learn. But how she opened up about her life and how the absence of her mother, how there was no one there to really love her. And that there was always something inside of her that felt different, but she just didn't put her finger on it. And for a lot of people who are queer youth, especially before all the information and education we have now, they knew they were different, but they didn't know how they were different. They didn't know personally. They just knew that something was different within them. And I have good memory, especially in my childhood. I remember feeling different. Like I did not fit in. it was like everyone was in on the joke except me, and I didn't know what it was. But when I found out what the punchline was and how I was the punchline, and that I will continue to be the punchline for the rest of my elementary and middle school career, what that experience was going to be. And here it is. Angela is starting to explore what Angela really is for herself, and got caught by her father. And her father did one of the most horrible things to her that, you know, a lot of people are saying that the LGBT community at large does or will do or have some sort of ulterior motive to do to your children. And when he did that to his daughter, it wasn't because, oh, he got some enjoyment out of it. Oh, you look just like your mother. It wasn't that. It was the fact of humiliating Angela. When we look at history, even in after the time of war and you had war captives, a lot of times war captives were humiliated against their will, even sexually. There wasn't any sort of sexual gratification like, oh yes, I'm in love with this man, I want to be with this man. It was the fact of, I'm going to dominate you, I'm going to conquer you, I'm even going to conquer your body against your will. And how her grown ass heterosexual father sat up there and did that to her damn daughter multiple times before she found the courage to get the fuck up and leave. And it's one thing to hear about people's experiences, but it's another thing to hear about it in their face, in their presence, with the energy, because energy don't lie. That's one thing that will never lie. Man will lie, even numbers will lie sometimes, bitch, but energy never lies, girl. No shade. So Tim had to hear all this shit in front of him, become overwhelmed with emotion because he's in his empathy, he's in his Christ energy, he's in his shutting the hell up, girl. Then somebody said, girl, God gave your ass 2 ears and 1 mouth, bitch. That should be a lesson, girl. Listen twice. And even in the midst of all that, she, the one who is labeled mentally ill, sick, twisted, even some of the things that the Pharisees thought in reference to her being trans, there's all these external things that just contributed in a very negative and sexual way to like automatically demonize it, like to find a way to demonize it. Even when I was reading how she was expressing about the dress and all that stuff, in my head I'm like, oh Lord, people gonna think that Angela became trans because her mom wasn't there and her dad was barely there, and all of a sudden she missed her mom and ended up wearing a dress and wanted to become her damn mom. And then, oh, look at what happened to her being sexually abused by her own father orally and shit like that multiple times. That contributed to that experience. But in the midst of all those things, she still chose to forgive her father. Now, she ain't talking to the motherfucker, bitch. Hell no, because no tea, no shade, and just facts. And this may be a little bit of dark humor, girl, but I'm embracing the truth of who I am, girl. Sometime, girl, dark humor comes from you got to laugh to keep from crying, bitch. No shade. But hell, she was like, daddy, you've had enough of my motherfucking mouth and words and all that shit all them times, girl. All you get is a motherfucking, hear you breathing, okay, hello, you breathing? Okay, girl, click. And when you die, girl, I'm going to come slayed down in a dress that I know mom ass would have wore, girl. And I would have bid my last farewells and goodbyes. And, you know, see if you left me something. No shade. Okay? But then Tim is overwhelmed with emotion, goes to the bathroom, girl. And, of course, the Pharisees came through, girl. The goddamn conservative motherfucking spokesperson, bitch, came up. See, here it is, girl. You over here crying for the bitch, girl. Her father turned her ass trans, girl. If it's anybody, she needs to be arguing with her. He needs to be arguing with his father. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm speaking in the word of the Pharisees, girl. He is confused. He is a nigga in a wig. He is a man in a dress. He is a transformer. Let some people say it, girl. He is all this stuff. He made the choice to put on the dress. How can it be natural if he did that? And baby Tim had to get Miss Pharisees together, girl, in a very right way, like the way that I would get a bitch together, girl. Because at this point, all this information that's available, and you still choose to be an asshole, girl, I'm gonna treat you like an asshole, girl. And I'm not gonna give you Charmin Ultra Plus. I'm not gonna give you motherfucking dude wipes, bitch. I'm gonna give you some very old, stale ass, waterlogged, that got hard as hell, bitch, fell off the back of a truck and is in the back of a damn clearance bin, bitch, at Dollar Tree. It's gonna be very abrasive. There might be some fissures there, girl, cause you playing in my face. So he had to let his ass know. Why do you take someone's story and have to add to it what you think happened? Oh, what about context and nuance? See, I love when people just take certain words and try to use it for their defense, girl, and they have not even fucking applied that shit objectively for it to be seen. So it'd be like, girl, you're literally just trying to do a tit for tat and you're failing, which is why your ass is getting cussed out, because I see through your bullshit. But why do you have to take someone's story and try to find a reason to label why something like them happened to them, especially if they're thriving in their life? Girl, if it was so destructive, if it was so fucked up, it would still be happening to this day. Meanwhile, Angela could have allowed herself to succumb to what happened to her and could have literally self-deleted herself. But nope, she chose to fight for her life. Because daddy wasn't there, mommy wasn't there, but who was there? Her. And again, God works in mysterious ways, and like Tim said, we only understand God in the box that we put it in. But that's why it calls to be open-minded, because you actually enlarge and expand your territory for God to be greater. And that's why the emotional awareness is important as well, because that's how you connect with other people and to say, bitch, despite all the labels that we might have in front of us that society and certain groups of people might want to keep enforced, this connects us as human beings, because at the end of the motherfucking day, despite all the shit we go through, we are human beings. We're breathing the same air. We're living on the same fucking rock. If you cut us, we're all going to bleed the same color blood, girl, and we're all going to fucking die one day. So there is a universal truth there that we keep forgetting. And we try to build our own Tower of Babel, girl, to climb up to the heavens using the sins of other people and the backs of other people to stand upon, girl. And you know what the fuck happened to that tower. When Christ literally said, girl, instead of you hoes having to do all this extra leg work, do all this extra bullshit, y'all just do this. To love the Lord God with your heart, mind, body, spirit, and soul. Basically, in the words like Spicy said, Umbutu, girl. You are you and I am me. And we can become we. That's the Bubs remix, girl. But because you are, I am. I am the I am, girl. Don't it sound familiar? That's why we have to learn to listen to each other and deal with our own inner Pharisees, because that's the problem. We're so goody. So you met someone, you know you undone your heel. Goody. We doing that shit with the Pharisees, girl, when the Pharisees is lying to us. And when we come across other people who are queer, who know how to tell their story and have control of their own narrative and won't let you do it, girl, and come through with objective fact and the gospel truth. Come through with the gospel truth, girl. Your inner Pharisees is going to feel some type of way. And a lot of people are afraid to face their inner Pharisees, their ego. And when you open-minded, hell, even Tim learned something from his goddamn Pharisees, girl. But that's what, again, a broken clock can be right twice a day. See, we need to connect with people who are open-minded. For those who are not open-minded right now, that's fine. That's their life, girl. But we need to start finding a way to connect with other people who are willing to say, okay, how do we get to the human part? How do we find, resolution? How do we reconcile? How do we move forward collectively together in a better way? It's so easy and so simple. But a lot of times, people say it's easier said than done because that means you have to sacrifice something on your end, especially when you've done it in a way to benefit off of someone else's pain and misery. Yeah, accountability comes through. That's the part that sucks. That's the part that everybody want to bypass. That's the part everybody don't want to deal with. But when you deal with your karma with integrity, you actually make a choice to lessen how harsh it's going to be because you made a choice to accept it. It's kind of like, and I bring this up a lot. A lot of people don't like talking about it. But like I said, I always bring up death as an easy way or like a crash course way of having an ego death. Like when you're faced with that reality, and we all will be faced with that reality, how do you want to decide on how it's going to go off in the end? Are you going to let fear consume you in that moment? Or are you going to be brave to face something that is natural? But that's why Christ said to die unto the self, which means to die before you actually die so that you can live. And when I mean die figuratively, meaning that I'm willing to choose to believe something different going forward and commit with the ups and the downs and everything in between. I'm going to commit to all of this to make this work. And you will still have to deal with the world outside of you that may not understand your inner world. Who will objectively try to disregard and deny your reality and even have the nerve to say, well, my God says, and my God said. Your God isn't the only God, if you want to keep it like that. Well, in actuality, our God is the same. Just the expression in which you think about your God is different and unique. I should say it like that. Maybe that was a better way to say it. And I'm gonna get to your question. Give me your comments, Ron. But that's just all I know is I'm all that BubzDaGawd know is that I'm going to do my part. And I'm starting with me, girl. Man in the mirror. What did Michael say, bitch? You gotta make that change. Come on. You gotta start with you. Be the change you wish to see in the world. And I do it through the lens of love. Because again, my work that I'm doing, and one of the facets of my gifts that I'm learning more and more of every day, is that I'm here for humanity, which means I'm here for all of us. It's just that I want to work with the motherfuckers who believe the same thing too, girl. No shade. And those people are coming into my life. I'm finding my soul tribe, my own individual, unique tribe. But at the end of the day, still honoring that we all are from the tribe of humanity. That despite all of our different expressions, beliefs, no matter how ignorant, whatever it is, regardless, there is one universal fact and truth that will trump everybody's own personal subjective experience, is that we're all human. You can't deny that. Ron says, given, beatnik, spoken word, realness. I'm glad you say that, because sometimes I feel like I'd be reading like William Shatner sometimes. And when she came, she said that she was going to do this. And like I said, I read very fast. My mind works very fast. And my mouth be trying to catch up. So sometimes, like I said, I stutter. My words will slur together. I'll make up a new word, girl, Andrew Caldwell, but a conscious, righteous version, girl. I'll take 2 words I see, like one word, 1 stanza, and one or like 3 stanzas down, because I'm reading so fast, because I'm trying to really keep up with the flow of everything, like with the punctuations and stuff, like, and it's a live reading, so sometimes I'd be nervous, because it's like, oh, girl, I just want to make sure I sound like I'm reading, and that, like, girl, is this what it's like when you read high, girl? Let me put the joint down. Like, I don't want to discourage nobody from smoking weed because my ass up here reading this way. But the fact that you said it's giving spoken word realness, I can deal with that, because spoken word realness is a good thing. So yes, Sicily is the southern point of the Italy. It's the tail end of the heel of the boot. See, I learned something new. And they are half black because North African. What? See, I'm learning all type of stuff. See, I ain't know that. What's up, Queen Lala? Okay, yes. Umbutu. I said Umbatu, girl. Umbatu is Umbutu. I noticed that conservative grifters are now pushing the narrative that trans people are targeting Christians and shouldn't be allowed guns. I'm sure Ms. Bukat will jump on the bandwagon. She'll bring it on her platform, and when she does, girl, we're gonna be right there. We're gonna be right there, girl. She says that the Lord is that God is using me as a footstool for her, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, girl, because you're not the only person getting blessed either. I'm getting blessed on the back end. I'm being blessed in ways that is more than money. Even though I do have some cash apps, which once again, girl, I need to keep doing this. Girl, I'm learning that my ass is gonna be proud, girl, of believing in me. Okay, just in case anybody feel like donating. Okay, I take the jingle and the folds, girl, whatever you got. I ain't turn it down. But yes, we're gonna be right there, because like I said, when it come down to people speaking out the side of their neck, and they're literally selling their souls for promises of gold through their non-gay booty hole, now renounced homosexual booty hole, girl, we gonna be up here to really bring forth context and nuance and the gospel truth. And they're doing all this for money, not because they really care for trans people and they want trans people to, they really care for them and want to be empathetic. They want them to basically convert into what they believe. Not knowing, or they do know, and I want to know, no shade, that it be low-key freaknik, the damn Dove Award editions, girl. That'd be all type of sinful and lascivious shit going on that y'all wouldn't do publicly. Keep it in the closet. Girl. Bitch, I'm not Michael. I'ma do the shit open. No. But, I mean, that's... people gonna do what they gonna do. And I guess we just gonna be opinionated people, girl. And again, the objective truth is gonna happen. That's why I'm glad we live in the information age, because I believe that the generations to come after us is gonna find a way to look back at us as far as history and be like, what the fuck was up with these people, girl? Like, really? Like, really? And that's why they want to erase certain parts of history, girl, because they're in it. and the gospel truth, girl, the universal truth is coming out, and motherfuckers can't handle it, so they feel some type of way, not realizing that, girl, this shit that is coming for all of us, we in the same motherfucking boat. We in the same goddamn boat. We're in the boat of humanity. And even the way that I look at things is not the complete truth. It's just the expression of BubzDaGawd that feels good to me, that I'm doing through love. I found my own individual unique piece in reference to what I bring forth in reference to humanity, but it doesn't completely solve all of humanity's problems. It takes humanity to solve humanity's problems. And if y'all have not been paying attention about what's going on in the news, whether you believe it's fixed news, it's fake news, or whatever, it's a reality that we're all experiencing collectively together. Things are getting really tight. We have other foreign powers that are willing to trade with themselves as opposed with us. Like, again, America is having her judgment day. And how silly of us to think that we were exempt from it, that it doesn't matter, or that we don't matter in the equation of karmatic debt. But again, whether we do it through love or do it through destruction, girl, whichever way the universe, God, source, Mother Nature allows for this shit to happen and roll out, girl, we gonna find out we human. Whether it's in a utopia, loving way, which I feel like we can manifest if we're honest with ourselves and with each other, or it could be in a post-apocalyptic, The Walking Dead, The Last of Us, just Mother Nature hit the reset button, girl. When are we as human beings going to transcend our bullshit? But anyway, I thank y'all for being here, joining me on this ratchet ass read through of The Cross in the Closet, girl. I'm sure you could have went anywhere else to read or hear a read through. Perfectly done, girl. They enunciate every word. The syllables is hitting, girl. They're telling the story a lot better than me, girl. You can go listen to them, girl. But if you love the real rawness, girl, even when it's malfunctioning sometimes, girl, then I appreciate you being here with BubzDaGawd. And I fuck with y'all the long and the hard way, girl. I'm a leprechaun. I got that rainbow road, girl, and the gold at the end, girl. So you know a leprechaun is on some grown man time. But anyway, shout out to Queen Lala. Shout out to Queen Spicy. Shout out to Ron. Again, Ron come through with the comments. Yes. Shout out to Queen Amber. Hope you enjoying yourself. Shout out to my first Queen Donna B. Who else we got? I think that was everybody that came through. Shout out, Neries. King Neries. Shout out to King Neries. Shout out to those in the bushes. Shout out to the replay gang. Please hit the like button. Look, you ain't got to subscribe to me again. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but you can hit the like button so you don't have to do what? Be a hating ass bitch all your life. Again, girl, a broken clock can be right twice a day, girl, and hitting the button is one of those times, girl. Okay. But if you feel compelled to follow the Bubs Flow energy journey, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. And when you do, even if you already subscribed, make sure, double check and make sure that the notification bell is hit to all, okay? Because there's been a few times where I've went live and it didn't show up at all, even though I'm subscribed to my other page, and if it did, it showed up like 5-6 minutes later. So just make sure that y'all hit the thumbs up button to be in as much as the know as YouTube will allow, because I do be saying some shit on here, so it is what it is, you know. And if you feel compelled in your spirit, girl, if the Lord just says that you just felt compelled to bless a leprechaun, girl, to add a few more coins to the pot of gold, girl, my Cash App is down there at the bottom, BubzDaGawd, if you feel compelled, okay? I ain't turning down none of my blessings, bitch. I be giving and giving and giving and giving, and I'm learning to receive. I have no problem giving, girl. I'm learning to be verse. I'm learning to be verse, girl. You know I'm strict top, but now I'm learning to be verse, girl. Even though there's some other motherfuckers that's trying to find a way to make me verse in that way too. But I'm talking about when it come down to the blessings, girl, I give and I receive. Okay, so thank y'all for coming through, and I leave y'all with our residential outro song by, once again, the motherfucking GOAT, girl. Just Lord, just universe, just I know it's gonna happen, but I can't wait. Allow me to meet this person, and Lord, please let this person be my mentor, vocally. Even when it comes down to philosophy, I don't care, just a creative energy. But I do want to learn some vocal shit. I want to learn more how to compose. I want to learn how to be a producer. I'm going to learn this year. I'm going to manifest a new keyboard. I'm going to teach myself how to play the piano, because I am somewhat musically inclined and I do have an ear. It's just about strengthening that. I'm going to refine my vocal confidence that I had when I was younger, and I allowed myself to actually close out, and I chose to or not sacrifice, Lord, but I chose to what is the word I want to use? I chose and participated in snuffing out my unique light when it comes down to my creative outlets and expressions. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and he's just fucking dope. I just want to smoke a blunt with this nigga and be like, nigga, let's just talk. I would like to smoke a blunt with him, Duran Bernard, bitch, and Cat Williams, girl. We all sit down, bitch. That would be a motherfucking time. Okay, we had a time last night. Girl, and I want the weed to be fire. I want the weed, when I hit the weed, I want my chest to be like this. Girl, I want my chest on fire. But anyway, the name of the song is called Tears, and I play that because I want people to know, whether you're queer, whether you're straight, just if you're ever in a space where you are afraid of not just things outside of you, but afraid of things within you, if you feel like nobody gets you, if you feel like no one understands you, there is always an energy force that does not discriminate and that is unconditional, and that is love. Some people call love God. They call it different names. But in the expression that B. Slade has chosen to do it, I'm going to go ahead and say God. Because that's the most, relatable expression for a lot of people. We do live in America. America is at large a Christian nation, proclaimed to be. But that no matter what you're going through, that God, source, universe, love honors your tears, even though other people may not understand your tears and want to understand your story, that God, source, universe honors your tears. Okay? B. Slade said, your tears are salty by design to give your soul its proper enzymes to grow. You are literally watering your own garden. When you cry, that's the soul's way of throwing up. You are making a choice to connect 100% with your emotion and let it go, whatever that may look like. Now hopefully it's in a healthy way, like crying. Now, let's not go shooting and killing motherfuckers, girl. Let's not be on the offense. You only do that when you're defending yourself, but that you have the opportunity to let it go, and that it's okay to let it go. Angela, in the chapter we just read, had every choice that people would verify from all walks of life to still be like, yeah, hate your daddy for what he did. But she made the choice to forgive. Now, she could forgive and still love his ass from all the way over there. Just because you love a motherfucker don't mean you have to like them, girl. No shade. But she made that choice to forgive, and not to forgive him for him, but to forgive so that she can move on and heal with her life and manifest her best goddamn toaster strudel's life, girl. And that tears and crying is universal. We all go through this, whether we're public, whether or not. But regardless, even when you're by yourself, God, source, universe honors you and honors your tears. So with that being said, thank y'all for joining me for yet another read-through of The Cross in the Closet. And I will see y'all again for the next read-through. Peace. Okay, girl, where's my damn mouse? Peace.
Feeling so lonely, feeling so down when you need someone. No one's there to be found. The pain inside can't be expressed verbally, so you cry on your pillow. You don't know what you're saying, but I know an interpreter of tears. And when your voice you cry, it lends an open ear. Oh, God understands the language of tears. He knows all about all your pain and your fears, when you're right and you're wrong, when your friends are gone. He's a shoulder to cry on. God understands your tears. You can't keep it bottled inside, so just let it out. In God you confide. That's what he's there for. He knows all your pain is It's alright to cry. Joy will come in the morning. But I'm no interpreter of your tears. When your voice will cry, there's nothing here. Oh, God understands the language of tears. He knows all about your pains and your fears. When you're right and you're wrong, when your friends are gone, he's a shoulder to cry. God understands your tears. He understands the language of tears. Oh, the language of tears. And not cries so many tears. When you're right and when you're wrong, when your friends are gone, he's a shoulder to cry on. God understands your tears. Yeah, yes. He knows all about your pain. Oh, yes, he does. He understands your tears. It's alright to cry. Oh, Jesus, you can cry.